All right, back. Community call number 68. Very excited about this. This is probably like the most I've talked about a call, like outside of like a couple of promos and maybe on some live streams. But I had the pleasure of meeting Ronald. I don't know, it's probably like 3 weeks ago at this point. I think we probably connected on TikTok, and I didn't realize that Ronald was the same Ronald that Tony had talked about. Like, as a couple of us realized that Tony had been talking about you for a while, but when he talked about you, he didn't talk about you the right way. He's like, oh yeah, this guy Ronald, he does some web scraping, it's kind of automated, it's cool, it's super cheap, blah blah blah. And I think we all just brushed it off. But when you had the opportunity to kind of walk me through what we're going to walk through tonight,
yeah,
it's kind of blown away. And we've just been in contact a lot over the last couple of weeks. And I was like, hey, we got to bring this to a community call so people can see this, because I spend a lot of time with new sellers and then people who are trying to source but struggling. And the tool is just really, really fantastic. And so the way I've been talking about it, because we all know Tony on some level, and we know he does. When we were doing live streams in Q4, he would always come on and do like crazy scrapes of like Hanes or something and drop like 3,000 ASINs in the chat. And it's cool, but it's just like, now what? And so
overwhelming.
Yeah. So effectively, the way I think about it is the software, that the service that we're going to look at today is what Tony does for like average intelligence people, right? For some of us slower folks who can't follow or keep up with Tony, this is like the ideal service or solution where you can get kind of the crazy scale of what Tony does. I think Tony's done like 32 million UPCs, but without having the crazy proxy servers, the hide your blah, blah, blah here, you get this extra capture there, and it's all in one package. And so we're basically bringing it to the community tonight. You're going to walk through a live demo, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And then what you put in place is, for everybody who's on a call tonight, we're going to have a special sign up. And instead of getting 1,000 free credits to go and scan products, you're going to get 1,500. So super excited about that. But with that, I just want to say thank you for coming. I think a lot of people are excited about this. So welcome to the call.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm really excited to be here. A little background. So yeah, I know Tony, a good friend, and he taught some of us the ropes in a group about web scraping, and he did his thing in spreadsheets and very complex stuff. And I kind of took it from there. It was about 3 or 4 years ago, and I wanted to teach myself how to do those things as well. So I kind of took some courses and started playing around, and was able to come up with my first script that would essentially go and download products from a retail store and then put it into a spreadsheet so that you can sort and see like which ones are profitable and a bunch of other statistics. And then from there, I've been working on automating the process, because originally I thought, I could install Python environments and a bunch of people and they could run their own scrapes, and it just was extremely complex, and people got confused very easily. So I thought, well, how could I automate this so that you don't have to know anything about anything? You just have to know what products or what store you want, and it'll get it for you. So I did that, and I've gone through iterations. It's been about 3 or 4 years now, but this current iteration is, I think, the best that I've gotten it. And I'll show you some of those features where you could be an absolute beginner, or you could be someone who's already doing 6 figures, even 7 figures, and still use the tool pretty much in the same way. So I can go ahead and share my screen and just get into it, Omar. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited. Let's go.
All right. Let me see if I remember how to do this. And every time I do this, I need to move the video off. Okay, you can see my screen?
Yeah, we're locked in.
Awesome. So the main site is marketfoundry.io, and that brings you to this web-based console. And it gives you a welcome page that has like a getting started overview that just goes through about 10 minutes of a lot of the things that I'll cover here, but just at a high level. This was a while ago that I did just some basic, how to use the information to actually do sourcing. It's like a 45-minute video, but that's on there as well. And then some information on here. When you click on Omar's link, it'll take you to a page that says, we invite you to join. And essentially you'll get to the My Account page. And here I'll show you, I'll just log out real quick. But when you go to create an account, the nice thing about this is literally you only need your name and email. So you put in your email address, you put in your name, you say, create my free account. It's going to create an account. It'll basically send you an email that says set your password. So that way you can choose whatever password that you want. And then you'll have 1,500 instead of 1,000 credits to use. And credits are what you actually scan with. And I'll show you how that works if I log back in. So it's basically what I call credits is these, the number, it's essentially the number of products that you're scanning, the number of URLs. So to keep it easier, I call it credits rather than products, but you can see, it's not something that's very expensive. If you wanted to download 1,000 products and including all of the variations of those products, it's only about $3 at full price. And then if you bought more, you can, reduce that per 1,000 price if you decide to. So the nice thing is there's no subscription. You're not locked into anything. It doesn't require any other software. You don't need, most people have Keepa or SellerAmp, but you don't need it. Like you don't need anything else other than going on here, creating an account and having credits in your bank to use. So once you do that, down here, you can see the sites that we have supported. So currently, I think there's 38. Yeah, 38 retail sites. So any one of these sites you could go to download products and it'll compare them to Amazon directly. So right now there's a pretty good mix of sites between department stores like Macy's, Kohl's, JCPenney. There's like GameStop if you're doing games, Home Depot and Lowe's for hardware, Sportsman's for like fishing, Sierra Trading Post, Shop WSS. So those are a pretty good mix. Vitacost is very popular for supplements. And of course, there's Gap Factory for the Gap King. So those are the sites, and we'll be adding a bunch more. This is just kind of what we have now, but it's a pretty good mix across all departments. Any questions before I continue? Pretty straightforward so far, hopefully. Good. So when you want to actually use this, what would you do? So I'll show you Kohl's as an example. It's just a site that I'm very familiar with. But say you wanted to source from Kohl's. They have a Valentine's Day sale. They have $10 for every 50 in Kohl's Cash. So you're getting a discount. You're able to manufacture margin, which I know Tony talks a lot about. There's additional coupons. So anything coupon eligible, you get additional 15% off of that. So like, okay, this is great. What should I source? You can actually go and click on any department. You can click on a banner that'll bring up, say, Valentine's Day. You can click like a clearance if you wanted to see just clearance items, or you can do a search. So maybe you are searching for a particular brand like Nike. You could do that, and it's just basically going to bring up just Nike products. Or you can do something like shoes, or you can do clothing, or you can do kitchen. Whatever you'd want to get information for, all you have to do is search for it, and it'll come up in a list. And what you're looking for is a search page like this that actually has a number of results, shows each product, says like add to cart. That's how you know you're in the right place. So if I wanted just to do like a category, for instance, if I wanted to do women's clearance, just as an example. So this brings up the page, just like I showed you, that has all the products here. Now, I see a bunch of these on sale, on clearance, and I'm like, oh, okay, good. Maybe I can buy this shoe while it's on sale. I can sell it on Amazon. But if you click into it and you look at the actual product page, if I was to try to do this one by one, I mean, there's all these different colors. There's all these different sizes. There's medium, there's wide. So if I was trying to go to any of these and just go one by one and try to figure out, is this on Amazon? Is it profitable? All of that, it would take forever. What the tool does is it will download this entire product. This is considered one credit, this entire page. All of these variants, all of these colors and sizes are just one credit because it's one URL. What it does is it takes every single one of those, gets the information for it, including the price, the title, the UPC, the model, the SKU, the color, the size, all of that information automatically, compares it to Amazon using Keepa, and then will show you which ones, what you can buy it for, what it's selling for on Amazon, and exactly which of those are profitable. So that's a little bit about the advantage of doing something like this. And then the other nice thing is there's 4,269 products in just this one search. And you can see, there's 120 per page. And in this, there's 36 pages of results. All I need to do is tell the sourcing tool how many results I want. I like to go in and filter. So maybe I sort by best sellers so that the best selling ones are usually the ones that sell the fastest. And I could also do price, I could do brand, I can do promotion, like maybe if it's on clearance or on sales, what I want to see. Once I have the filter that I'm happy with, all I need to do is copy this URL just by right-clicking and doing copy, and then I just go back to the tool. So now I'm ready to actually tell it I want it to go and grab products. So I select the retail store on submit a job, and I'll say Kohl's, and I just paste in that URL. So now that whole filtered URL is in the search pane here, and I'm going to tell it how many pages I want to analyze. And you can see it's telling you that when it pulls it, it's going to grab 120 products per page. Remember, each product is a credit, but it includes all the variants of those. So if I wanted to do 5 pages, that would cost me 600 of the credits that I have in my bank. If I wanted to do 10 pages, I'm going to get 1,200 products and all variations, and that's 1,200 credits, right? So if I do that and I select the discount is nice because right now I know there's a Kohl's Cash promotion where you'll get $10 for every 50 that you spend. It comes out to about 17% of a discount. And a discount means when it shows the actual price, whatever the lowest price is, it'll tell you if it's coupon eligible, it'll automatically get that price with the coupon applied. But any additional discount that you might have, like that Kohl's Cash promotion, or if you have a gift card or you use a cashback credit card, or you want to factor in rewards from like Rakuten or Top Cashback, you can enter that here as a number. So I like to do Kohl's Cash at 17% because that's the $10 for every 50. I don't usually use like cashback credit cards or anything in that discount, but of course it's adjustable. Once I have the number of pages I want, the discount, and I have my URL, I simply click submit job. So now the job is queued and everything from that point is automated on the back end. You don't see it, but what it's doing right now is going to Kohl's. It'll perform this same search by loading this URL. It's going to go through the first 10 pages and get the links for every single product that you see here. Once it has all of the links, so if it'll get about 1,200 links, it'll go through every single product one by one, pull down all that information for the product, including all these variations for the clothing, compare that to Amazon, create a custom sheet, and then it'll email you the results or it'll show up in the job status place. So here you can see it's already running and it's doing my job and it's going and getting those 10 pages. I'll stop there again. Anyone need to jump in or ask any questions?
So Ronald, I'll just ask, so usually how long when you're running a scan will that take?
If I did 10 pages here, I'd probably say 15 to 20 minutes. Most scans will go under a half hour. Unfortunately, the time here isn't, sometimes it's not the same because it's like UPC or whatever. You can see like, if you run some of these, this one ran in like 8 minutes because Target's very quickly for 15 pages. So Generally, we're not talking about hours. I would say 30 minutes is or less is the norm. Anything longer than that, it's either a very large job or it may be having difficulty with something in the background.
Okay.
Yep. So this is running, and as soon as it's done, it'll say completed, just like this. And then I have options to download the results into a spreadsheet. I can send it to the AI analyzer, which is going to look at that sheet, tell me which ones are the best products. And then there's also a built-in brand ungating, which will show me what are the reseller friendly brands that are contained in that sheet. Show me the lowest item that I could buy that I ran in that scan that I could use for ungating, and then give me links that I can use to actually apply for ungating. So I have a couple of these open that I'll show you as an example. So
Hey,
this
Ron,
is
quick.
Yeah,
There's
go ahead.
a question from Jenny.
Sure.
So when it comes to credits,
Yes.
1,000 credits, that would be 1,000 searches, or how does that work?
Yeah, when you're actually submitting the job, it'll tell you how many credits that it'll cost for the job. So whenever you select a store, it's the number of products in the page. So if I did just one page and there's 120 products per page, it would cost 120 credits of that 1,500 balance that you would have. And then different stores, like if I do Gap Factory, that one actually has 200 products per page. But if I go to Target, that one has like 24 products per page. So every site has a different number of products per search page, so that when you perform a search and you're clicking like next page, it's how many products they'll show you on each page before you have to click next. And it varies from store to store. But what you would know is that basically the number of products you're telling it to grab is the number of credits that you would need to do. So if I wanted to do 10 pages of Target, that's 240 credits. If I wanted just to pay for it out of my pocket and not buy credits, I could do that. If I didn't have a balance, it would cost me 72 cents. And I would run and I would basically be pulling down 240 products and any variations included. So different sites are always going to have different ones. Like Walmart is 70 products per page. And so it just depends. If I want to do 10 pages of Walmart, that's 700 of the credits. Make sense?
Yes.
And then Lark has a question.
Sure.
Yeah, just a question on the on that example you used for the Kohl's. So I believe it was like 10 pages, 20
Yep.
items, 1,200, whichever one it might be.
Uh-huh.
It's comparing it to what's available. Let's say it was 1,200. Now, naturally, it's not going to yield an exact match of 1,200 items on Amazon. It might yield 600 or 500 or 1,000 or whichever it might be, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you that in a sheet. Let me see if I can grab it.
And it's still costing you the 1,200 credits because
because that's what it's actually grabbing. Correct.
Yeah. Correct. Yep.
I would say
So it's
roughly,
you're not being charged what it yields. You're being charged by the search.
right. And it's roughly probably about 60 to 70%. They'll actually be matches, but not everything that you find in Kohl's is actually on Amazon. So that's why there's the difference. So this is one that I'll show you here in a second. It lets me edit it, but I'll show you the difference between what it actually downloaded and what it grabbed. You can still see my screen. So the raw data, this is the stuff that's actually getting from Kohl's, the UPC, the price, the SKU quantity, the web ID. So for like parent ASINs, the availability, the title, brand, color, promo, and whether or not it's unclear. So this is the raw data. And if I go all the way to the bottom, there's 24,772 unique UPCs data in this particular one that was run. And I believe it was around 1,500 products. But because these are mostly clothing, all those variations are included. So even though you run 1,500 products on this one, it produced 24,000 rows. If you look at the ones that were actually matched to Amazon, which is in this sheet, and you scroll down to the bottom, you have 16,000. So not 24,000 like you got in the raw data. The actual number that matched to Amazon was around 16,000. So around 60 to 70% usually is what happens.
And Lark, just a note. So for that 1,000 credits, like say you ran 1,000 products on your scan, remember that each product, one, you get all those variations, but each product is 1/3 of 1 cent. So it's very inexpensive.
Right. Yeah, and what I like to say is, like, you know, it does have a cost to it, but there's no subscription, there's no anything else required. I am paying for a proxy in the background because these retail stores are very protective against people trying to run these types of jobs. So they'll do bot detection, they'll do CAPTCHA and other things. So there are services that help you get around those, but those end up costing money per product, you know, also. So it's basically incorporated, so you don't have to worry about it, and it's factored into that cost, so that again, you don't have to worry about it. But there is a cost for me to actually pay to get those products scanned, but it's incorporated in that when you buy credits. So while this is running, I'll show you, this is the example of one that ran. Again, it's on Kohl's, and let me see here. So it picked up a total of 4,949. Of that, 4,000 of them were actually in Amazon's catalog, and it matched nearly all of them. So when you come in here and you say send to analyzer, this is the smart analyzer. So it does a number of things. One, there's a profit calculator, so that if you're looking at an item, you can put in your custom tax rate. Like for me, it's 0 because I use a prep center. My average shipping cost is 8. And when I do that, I'm able to look up an item, and then it'll tell me exactly what the ROI is based off of what I can buy it for, what it's selling for, and all the fees. And you can see some of these ones that I had run as examples. And it also has the list of the products. And then when you do analyze products here, it comes up with a list of the items that it found in there, and it ranks them for you. So I think this one was actually a Nike one, but you can see that of the products that it found, it thinks 67 are excellent for reselling. And I'll get into like, why does it say 67 are excellent? Another 848 are good, 644 are average, and then you have below and poor. So if it's average or more, it's typically right around or greater than a 30% ROI. Sometimes there's some reason it dips a little bit below. But the good and excellent usually have really good ROI. And of course, you can sort here. And then what I like to do is sort by the number of estimated sales, just so you get an idea of velocity of, you know, how often something is expected to sell. So you get an idea of how fast you can flip it. And then it also gives you the ROI for each item as well. So I could also sort by ROI, looking at which ones are the top ROI in here, along again with the estimated sales. So if I did say number of sales, and I wanted to look at a particular item that's say 77% ROI, I could click this down, you know, this expansion, and it gives me an overview of the item. So it says profitability is really good. 77% ROI is good. The velocity is a little bit low at 60 a month is what it's estimating. There's one seller in competition. It gives it a base score. And then it gives it how many drops it detected via Keepa, how many reviews it found, how long it's been listed, the number of offers, and things like the other Amazons on the listing. And then it'll give you a recommendation based off of that. So this one says moderate buy. If you were sourcing and you found this, you're like, hey, you know what? I could sell this and make $71 per sale profit. That's really good. And that, you know, it would say buy 3 to 11 units. And then it also gives you these buttons where you can look at side by side. So what I like to do is if I right click one and do open a new tab, you can bring these side by side so that you can see the item it's talking about on Amazon, which is this shoe, size 15, currently no other sellers, which is a really good one as well. Then you can look at the Keepa. This one doesn't have a lot of activity, so you'd want to be careful. A lot of times it's completely out of stock. And when it's in stock, it's, okay. There are some drops and number of offers moving, but in general, it's a pretty high. The sales rank isn't like the best on this one. I guess actually it's part of a larger listing with parent items that are 1% 7K sales rank. So that's good. There's like 2,600 sales per month on the overall listing. And then this particular variant of this shoe may or may not, you'd want to look at and see the velocity. But the idea is, here's the shoe. And then if I'm looking at Nike, again, it's the exact same shoe. Nike doesn't bring up exact, but you can just select the same color and then look at them side by side. Like there's no question I'm looking at the exact shoe. And so if I wanted to look at size 15, looks like on, is it women's 15 or men's? This is women's 15. So it looks like they sold out since I've ran this scrape, but you would see that here, like you can buy it. Sometimes it'll say just a few left, and then you have your buy price and any other coupons that may be included in here will also be added. And then you have it selling on Amazon. Right now it's unavailable, but the last time it was selling was like $182. Now, I don't know if you would normally get $182, but if you're the only seller on a listing, that's, that could be really good. So what it's showing you is when you see this in here and you're looking at it, it's giving you statistics, and you click these, it's the exact same item. And then you just kind of do your vetting from there. More questions?
Yeah, Thomas has one.
Well, that just answered my one question. I have two questions. Yeah, I was going to ask you if there's a link for the direct product, but yep, you just answered. My second question is, this site, are we able to scan other sites or just what you have programmed, or like like say I wanted to do, I don't know, models.com. I know there's no models anywhere. Can we put that, or it's right now it's only what you have on the
right now it's these 38 stores.
Okay.
But the good news is I've been working on processes to automate adding stores. So if you tell me, hey, I would like to see, X store, I can usually have it added in 30 to 60 minutes at most. I have scripts that do 95% of the legwork. So as long as it's not like a weird site and how they present their data or other things, I can usually add it. So this list is going to, when I sit down or actually have someone work with me on this, it should double or triple. But the good news is, if there is any site that you would like to see added, all you do is just shoot me a message and I'll check it out and make sure. Most of the ones that work the best are ones that actually have UPC data in the page source, so that I can match it exactly to Amazon. Sierra Trading Post is an example of one that does not include UPC. So what I have to try to match it to Amazon, I have to match it on the brand, the name, and the size and color. And it's not exact. Amazon will come back with what it thinks is like the best match, but it's more of like a 60% match rate. Whereas when you have the UPC, it's like 99.9%. So most of the stores you see here have UPC, the exceptions being ASOS and Sierra Trading Post, and Gap Factory actually does, but for some reason Amazon doesn't have the UPC on their site, so I'm not able to match it. And Adidas is also another one that doesn't have it. So most of these do have it, and you get that exact matching. And if you want to add a store, it's easy to do.
Now I do have a question. I see you have Ace Hardware on here.
Yes. Yep.
I have a wholesale account through Ace Hardware. Will that bring up, what prices would that bring up? Just the regular item prices that I choose, or can I like put in my cost of what I get for wholesale? If that makes sense.
What I would recommend, there isn't a way for you to like log in, so it's showing you like your price versus the normal price.
Yeah.
But if there's kind of I don't know if there's a set discount where like normally it's 25, but because you have the wholesale, maybe you get it for 17 or something, and be able to calculate what that discount would be. If so, then you can go into when you're running a job or submitting a job, they always ask for the discount. So I would do whatever the effective discount, or
Okay.
at least getting as close as possible. You should have a pretty good idea.
I got you. All right, cool. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
There was one more, Jonathan. Do you
Yeah.
want to ask your question, or you want me to read it for you? I know Kelly, you have a question too. So he was just asking if Market Foundry compares with Keep It, the Keep It API, and pulls the products together. Or,
Yeah, that's pretty
one-
much what it does. It does in the back end. You can see there's actually a Keep It tab when you download the sheet, and it has all of the data. So it's basically uploading a list of UPCs or a list of ASINs. And then you can see we have something like 40 columns of data in here. And what the Smart Analyzer does is take as many of those as possible into its calculation to do recommendations based on A, profitability, and B, velocity, to give you an general idea of how fast is it going to sell and how much profit is there going to be. And there's some other things in here like, is Amazon on the listing? How many competing offers there are? How many reviews does it have out of the total? Whether it's in the, the buy box, winner count, just a bunch of different things that are provided by Keepa that's automatically used. And what the sheet does is takes all this Keepa data, all the data from the actual store, and merges it into this sheet, which again, you can sort by things like ROI to see like which are your top sellers. So you could definitely still work with a sheet like this if you wanted to. But the Smart Analyzer honestly is doing a lot of the legwork here for you. It's going to show you which ones are the best profitable with the most velocity. But it does use Keepa for that to get those statistics from Amazon.
Kelly, go ahead.
Hi, I was just wondering, what AI source are you using to scrape? Is it like OpenAI?
I don't use, I use AI to run, like to collaborate. I use Claude AI, love Claude AI. I spend $100 a month on it just because it's so good at coding, and it's helped me automate just like all the stuff that you see here. It's like its own story. I don't know anything about web development. I don't know anything about how to do a Smart Analyzer, but the AI with repeated prompts and back and forth and things like that can actually make a lot of this for you. But yeah, I use Claude AI, and I actually have it built in, which you actually have an AI sourcing advisor built into this where I could ask it questions about the data that was scraped. So it can tell me the best products, which are the fastest sellers, which ones I should buy again for ones I've already sold. Like I've sold 194 of these before. If I only had $200, how would I maximize that for both ROI and velocity? And I can just ask it any general question down here as well. So that's built-in Claude AI. And also when you sign up at no additional cost, over here in the Market Foundry tools, there's also a built-in full like AI as well. It's programmed or kind of like, taught about reselling in general and like forming an LLC and all that. But you could literally ask it like, what's the weather in Chicago? And it's able to answer those things. And there's no cost to it. So it's like a built-in AI. It's based off of Claude AI.
Okay.
And Thomas, I think you have one more question.
Yeah, sorry. So, for instance, Home Depot.
Yes.
How would you go about doing like scanning Home Depot? You have to go to like, let's say, electrical, and then you go to electrical, and then it'll just scan that whole category.
Yeah, you can do departments. So you can do like, looking at different departments here. You can also do searches for whatever you want. Like I did handheld drills. I like to use a random word like happiness, just so it gives me the search result and not a department. It's funny because I actually sometimes match something like I'm searching for happiness and it shows me products. It's kind of interesting. But this would be like handheld drills. What you want to make sure though is that it doesn't take you to a department page. A department page is something probably like this. If I go high enough, where if I just did like tools, something really general, it's probably not going to show me actual products I can add to the cart. It's going to show me like things like new to explore and bestseller. Like this one, I don't know if it's it looks like it is an actual search, but you just have to be careful. You want it to show you the number of results and the number of pages. But after that, you can search for anything, and anything that you can search for, you can scrape. So if I wanted to do,
Light bulbs.
yeah, light bulbs, exactly. So if I do that, there's a whole bunch of different types of light bulbs, and I could, of course, either drill down and filter by clicking the things on the left, or I could just do a general search. So this one is actually taking me to what I call a department page. You'll notice there's no add to cart on anything, so there's no actual products to get. So you would need to either click on one of these, like to get deeper, or maybe you do shop all light bulbs. Sometimes that'll do it. Or you can do a more specific search. But like this one is perfect. It's basically showing you 3,000 light bulbs, and you can see all the different things here. You can filter, you can sort by best selling, you can do bulb shape or whatever you're interested in here. And then you'll see the maximum number of results you get is 29 pages worth of results. So if you were to actually want to run a job on this, you simply copy that URL up here and then tell it how many pages. So if I do submit a job on that, it'll tell me how many products per page. All I do is select Home Depot here, paste in my URL, and it's going to tell me. So they do 24 products per page. So if I wanted to do then there was 29 max. So maybe I wanted to do 25 of those. That would be 600 credits, or a job cost of $1.80. But it'll get every one of those light bulbs. And if there are any variety, maybe color, size, anything that's a variety on those, it'll pick those up as well.
That's crazy.
Yep. And it puts in that sheet.
All right, cool. Thanks.
More questions?
Yeah. Hey, Ronald. Is there any way to upload those to a CVS or anything like that?
To upload them to, I'm sorry, to what?
To a like a spreadsheet. Like
yeah, I mean you can get the spreadsheet, so that's actually part of any job.
Okay.
Is the spreadsheet.
Okay.
So if you prefer to work off of spreadsheets, you can again sort and filter and do all the different columns here. It has a little bit more than the Smart Analyzer. So yeah, it's always included in there. There's a link whenever you have a job that you ran that'll say download results, gets the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Send analyzer. Automatically will pass it to the analyzer, and then you can see the results. So this one's an example of, again, clothing. I'm partial to it because I sell clothing and shoes because I love all the variations. But I ran like 25 pages and it came out with like 16,000 different products matched. And you can see if I'm sourcing, this is the sale going on from today at Kohl's. I would have 910 different products that I could source from that it considers excellent, including some that I've sold before. Like I've sold 13 pairs of this particular pants. So if I look in here, not only is it going to give me the information about the pants, right now they're 64% ROI, but it's going to say I've sold them 13 times. Last time I sold them was mid last year. My average sale price was right around what it is now, and my total revenue. So I could see easily which ones have I sold before when I run a scrape, because I've loaded in my sale history up here through Amazon, and now it's going to show me to replenish ones I've sold before, or it just general gives me like which are the best items here. So you can see there's a lot to go off of. A lot of these have good velocity because each variant is estimated to sell around 400 a month of these. Gloria Vanderbilt's like a very well-selling jeans on Amazon. And again, I have all my data here that gives me all the insights, telling me how many I should purchase. And then again, I could ask AI, I could say, okay, looking at my spreadsheet, tell me which are the best products out of all of these, out of all, 16,000 products, what would you consider the best and why? So I click the button, best products. Now it's going to go through. It'll give me a list of, I think, 5 or 10. And it also gives the justification, which is kind of cool. So it'll go through and here, okay, here's the best ones. This one looks like underwear. The profit is 282% ROI. Decent sales rank. Amazon's not a competition. Insane ROI. Low investment. My cost is only $8 to get $23 in profit. It says that one. Then it goes to Gloria Vanderbilt, again saying ROI ranges from 87 to 200%, and a proven seller, and then Adidas. So it gives you that. And then again, you could ask in any of these. My favorite one so far, I think, is if you want to spend a certain number, like 200, you could say a 500 or 1,000. Not only will it tell you which ones it thinks are good to buy, but how many of those you should buy, so that your total cart ends up being 200, and it'll tell you what your expected ROI would be. So it says buy 9 of these, buy 4 of these, buy 2 of those, buy 1 of those, and that means my price, if I'm checking out, is $200. My expected profit would be $325 for 161% ROI, buying 16 items for $200. Now, obviously, the price might go down. Maybe it doesn't sell real quick or anything like, it's assuming that I would get whatever today's buy box is. But you can see that's very powerful, like, especially if you don't have a lot of capital to work with. How can you double it, or how can you at least get 50% ROI and can keep compounding that? The AI Sourcing Advisor is really good for that. More questions?
Louis, you had a question?
Yeah, I see on the excellent and good products that some of them have like 150% ROI. I'm just wondering, like comparing it from the Amazon listing to where you buy it on Kohl's, if it's like on Amazon, if the buy box is suppressed, and like how you can filter those out if possible on your website.
Good question. If the buy box is suppressed, I would assume it probably is. Like you can see here, it is. But again, in my experience, if you're the lowest seller, like right now, these are selling for close to $50 all in, and someone wants this color or size, they'll click into the buying options. And like I've sold a bunch that are suppressed, but I don't know if there's a way that it can tell, unless Keepa would show that. I could probably add that in. But then you can, of course, see the number of sellers, and then you can see on here, the chart, and look at like the last year. When Amazon has it, it's selling really well. As soon as they sell out, that's where the price goes up. But there's still a lot of volatility and movement here, that you can see the number of offers and what it's selling for. So I always still do my homework in here just to get a visual image of the item, and then again looking at the competition. But something like this that right now could sells for around $50. You notice that same exact item. You can even tell by the color, it's the exact item, is selling right now for $16.32 before Kohl's Cash. So the Smart Analyzer is saying with Kohl's Cash, looks like your buy cost would be your buy cost would be $13, because it takes another 17% off of your final cost with the Kohl's Cash. So that's a huge sale right now on Gloria Vanderbilt pants. And I've sold a lot of these on Walmart as well. But you can see that's where this shines, especially on a short duration sale. You're not spending time wondering which ones are good, how many they have. This will show you exactly which ones are the best as far as velocity and profit, and it'll even show you the stock level that that Kohl's has at the moment. Although right now it's all showing 0, which is not right. I'll have to fix that. But in general, you can always check Kohl's stock by just trying to add $999 to your cart, and it'll tell you how many of these they have left. So this one, they have 9 left of this one. And then if you click on any of these other ones, it'll show you. But again, if you can lock in this type of discount, that's gold, because you're looking at that Amazon, even when Amazon was on there and it's hard for them to stay in stock, the price has been consistently much higher now that they're out of stock, and it still sells $4,000 a month of the entire listing. And 6 short isn't a unusual size or anything.
Hey, Charles, you had a question?
Hey, Ronald, is it still drop shipping FBM Amazon?
I'm not sure the question.
Okay, because I had talked to you, I don't know, a couple months back about scraping. So
yeah.
at the time it was I think you were doing FBM and then it was drop shipping.
Yeah, I've moved away from that. It worked, and like I didn't get suspended or anything, but I'm more focused on higher quantity of higher ROI. But what he's talking about is with this spreadsheet, I was able to actually like take this entire catalog, filter on the availability column so that I know which ones are a high number of stock at Kohl's, and I could actually list this shoe on Amazon and say I have one for sale. When I get a sale for around $54, I go back to Kohl's and I purchase it for 15. So there are some risks there. I was using like overnight shipping and things with Kohl's, but they've since slowed it down where not all items can get there in time. It was too much of a headache, although it worked great. But now I'm more focused on if I see a good item, good ROI, good velocity, instead of just listing one and then when it sells, I'll buy one. And when the sale is over, that's it. I'll buy like 10 or 15, ship them to my prep center, and then list them right away, and then be able to take advantage of locking in my good sale price and getting sales on that item over and over and over.
Okay, so then I'm
sorry, go ahead.
So then you're implementing 0-day handling now?
It's like because what I do is when I place an order for like Kohl's, I'll overnight it or do 2-day shipping to my prep center. So I'll still do like 2 days of handling. But it depends. If it's already in the prep center and I know that they can grab it and ship it to my customer as soon as I get an order, I'll do like 0 or 1 day. But if it's in transit and I want to jump on that listing because right now it's profitable, but it's going to take 2 days to get to my prep center, I may start with like a 2-day handling time. And then when the prep center says, hey, we received that item, I'll drop it down to 0 or 1.
Okay, so you're actually purchasing, I don't know, you said 16 units at a time and then sending them to your prep center?
Sometimes I like to do a variety of between 5 and 10 because I'm purchasing a lot of different variations. If you look at the list, like there's so many that you can purchase. So I tend not to go too deep in one particular variant, depending on what it is, unless it's on clearance and it's almost sold out. Like I may just buy whatever they have left, but otherwise I want to capitalize on that, not just get one sale like I had been doing with the listing it ahead of time, but lock in by buying 10 to 15. What I don't want to get flagged by Kohl's is as a retailer. So I'm not going to buy like 50 of something. They're going to be, eventually they'll figure out that I'm doing it for resale. They may flag my account. So I like to do more items and a little bit less rather than, 50 of something that might, get on their radar.
Okay, based on that, you're ungated.
Yeah, and making sure I always check and make sure I'm ungated. And there's certain ones that I'll run that you'll see in my job history. In my jobs, I tend to run the same ones over and over, like here, and I know all of the brands here. I'm ungated in. So I'll actually do a filter specifically on the brands I'm ungated in. You can see how it's the same one over and over. And so that's kind of my bread and butter, so that when I get the results, it's only showing me items that I'm already ungated in. Versus if I just ran a scan on a clearance sale, it's going to pick up like 20 or 30 different brands. Some I may be able to sell, some not. That's not a problem, but it just depends on what your goal is. I run, just open-ended clearance sale ones all the time just because they're such good ROI, and it'll show you exactly which ones are on Amazon, the velocity, how many Kohl's or whatever store has left, and then you can lock in that great price.
It sounds like it may be more for an advanced seller versus a beginner seller.
I wouldn't say so, because using the number one, you can click on excellent, so it's showing you the excellent items. You can click on like estimated sales to see the velocity, and then you can look at ROI. So if you have those three things and you're ungated, then it's an easy tool to use. You can then open them side by side, check them out. You can also vet it with the AI, who again is going to look at a bunch of different things. As far as, is it for more advanced because they're ungated in more things?
Yeah,
could
because
do
they're
that.
ungated and more things.
Right, but my strategy is focusing on multiple marketplaces using FBM. So I have a prep center in Delaware that when I buy something from anywhere, I can list it on 5 different platforms, and if it sells on any of those platforms, I can add a label and then they ship it to the customer. So there's like Levi's I sell all the time on Walmart because Amazon won't let me sell it. And if there's something on Amazon and Walmart that won't let me sell, but I'm getting a great price, and I'll sell it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark, Mercari. I can even do Whatnot if I really wanted to, like get products and do a show, which I haven't, but I've seen people do that. So what I don't advise people is to lock their products into one marketplace. So there's a lot of advantages into sending things to FBA. I know everyone wants to be FBA because it's hands off and there's all these advantages. But honestly, like you're locking yourself into Amazon for the next few months whenever you send a product to them. If it takes 3 to 5 weeks for whatever you bought to actually be checked in and be ready for Prime on Amazon, the price could have gone down, a bunch of other sellers could jump on, Amazon could jump on, and now your product is stuck in their prep center, basically their distribution center, and the only thing that you can really do is either hold the product until it hopefully goes back up in price, cut your price down to where it's at, and either take it at cost or a loss, or ship it back to yourself, and there's expense in that. So I really like the FBM model because it's open to beginners, because they can list on multiple platforms while they're working on ungating more brands on Amazon. They can list on Walmart, or they can list on eBay or Facebook or OfferUp or anywhere, just to keep, slowly scaling until more things unlock on Amazon. So obviously the more you're unlocked, the better. But with, the new tools and things coming out with like Boxem, where it just like scans 10,000 different ASINs and auto ungate some of them, that might be a good strategy as well, as long as you can find stores that sell those brands.
Okay. Thanks, Ronald.
Yeah. More questions? So this
Ron,
one, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead, Ron, real quick. When you said you purchased it before,
Yes.
does that mean you actually, how does it know you sold it, or it was an item you actually purchased? How does it know the difference?
Yeah, so when I go to Amazon, it gives you the directions here, but basically you go to the Seller Central, Reports, Fulfillment, All Orders, and you export to CSV. It lets you do a month at a time, but I just kind of combined them. And you can see when I did that from February to January, so about a year's worth of data, I was able to import 4,007 ASINs that I've sold before. And because the report also has data on what the price was and the quantity and all that, it'll know not only how many times I've sold it, but how much I sold them for, when was the last one that was all that.
Yeah.
So I've sold 41 pairs of these Gloria Vanderbilt jeans for 1,800 revenue. Yep.
So basically you download a file and you upload the file, and then it analyzes it, and then it gives you the data.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. So you select CSV, you go to open, you select, I think I called it like Amazon order history somewhere in here. And then the nice thing is it's sticky. So if I go to if I close it out and I come back in, it remembers it. Until I actually clear it, it's actually like a cookie or something that'll remember that data. So you should only have to do it once. And then I'll probably go in and download maybe the last month's worth of orders so that it's updated. But it's really helpful for replenishing. And, if you're looking at something that you've sold, 9, 6, 5, 4, how many times, then you have a general idea that it's a decent seller. Even if the statistics say it's the slow seller, like if I've sold it 6 times and I can sell it again and get decent profit, then I'm probably more likely to not be as concerned about something that's saying low velocity, especially when I've sold it before. So
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're doing this and especially online arbitrage, being able to track which ones actually sold and to be say, okay, I sold them before. Now, are they profitable to buy them again? And like I could click in excellent, and now it's showing me all these excellent ones that are, you know, good ROI that I've sold at least one before, and I can then, you know, kind of vet and see which ones I'd want to buy again.
And then I'm sorry, real quick. So that's in the history of the account, not in that scrape that you just did.
Right. Yeah. The scrape is just what
set.
products did it pull down from, you know, Kohl's at the time that you ran it. The those items are your ASIN selling history.
When you upload the CSV, it tells you. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, then
Right.
it tells you. And then you can ask.
Lewis,
You
did
know,
you have a question? I think Lewis had a question.
Yeah, yep. I have a question, but just to piggyback off what Lark said, that's the CSV is just matching from that whole scrape you did to what you've sold. It's just highlighting those.
yes.
Okay, okay. And my question was, I know the AI, when determining to put it in the excellent or good, it's looking
Yes.
at the offer count, but does it look at the trend of the offer count, like if it's going up or going down, or if there's like a recent like suspected IP complaint?
It doesn't know about IP complaints, although I can show you the brand ungating tool that'll show you, like, you can look up a brand to see statistics and see whether it seems reseller friendly or not. Like, it does show the competing offers, like 14, but it doesn't, there are statistics over time. So it can get a general idea whether that's gone up or down over time to get a little bit, you know, smarter on the velocity, but it's looking things like rank drops. It's looking at the number of reviews versus the total reviews, the sales rank and things like that to get a general idea of the velocity of that particular variant. And it's not perfect, but it should give you a general idea. But I always like spot check it by opening the Amazon button, opening up the product itself, and then I'll just look at Keepa, and then Keepa that I can just eyeball. You know, if it's like a very sparse graph and there's nothing on it, then I'd be like, well, maybe it's not a good seller. But when you see something like this, it's like, yeah, this is, you know, obviously a lot of activity, a lot of number of sellers, pretty consistent. There are some price, usually repricers competing with each other to see like differences and bouncing like that. And then you can just see, you know, what's the current buy box. And then if you're looking at other sellers, it should show you the number if you have SellerAmp, how many they have. So that's usually where I pay attention to as well. Where if this guy's going to be ahead of me because I can't get it for 29 to be profitable, and he's got 15, and this guy's got 6, and this guy's got 6, I probably, even though it sells a whole lot, I probably would be cautious about that. But in general, like if I could jump in here, even at 3150, you know, I might get the buy box, and this one sells like 300 a month of this, and you can see that 300 a month is consistent with the one here that said 300 a month. I don't pull it from SellerAmp, but we're probably using a lot of the same kind of metrics to come up with those velocity numbers.
And Ronald, like up front when you're doing your scan, you can customize like your minimum ROI and all that stuff too. So that's another thing that you can control what excellent looks like.
Yeah, you can sort by ROI, but you can also select ROI levels. Like maybe you don't want to see anything under 40% ROI, so that when you're running this scanner, it'll filter those out. Things like that, or maybe it considers like what's the minimum ROI for profitability or things like that. Generally, I don't play around with that as much as I do with the filters. Like I can filter by ROI within a section. So if I'm in excellent, I can see what's the highest ROI within that one section. And then I have to kind of see, okay, these show very low velocity. You know, is this something I want to look at or not? But honestly, like even if there's extremely low velocity, but you can buy something cheap and it sells like just crazy price and get 400% ROI, like I would probably buy 1 or 2 of those and just be like, I'll just let it sit there, you know, and if it sells, like it's great. If not, you know, no problem. But I would mix it between ones I know that it's going to have good velocity, I'll be able to get my money back, reinvest it, buy more stuff, versus the other things that are just going to like sit a little while longer, but get a great return when they do sell.
Hey, Charles, do you have a question, or is that from Lat before? All right, I guess not. All right, keep going, Ronald.
No, someone else.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I
No,
put my
he's
hand
good.
down. I put my hand down.
Oh, okay. The other thing that I was going to show you on this was these symbols here. So when you see something like this, those little, the gem and the sun or whatever that's next to that, it says here the hidden gem is because there are low number of offers. So like there's only one offer on this listing to compete with. And then a new variant is another really good one. So the ones that you see with the star, a new variant is like, usually it's not perfect, but usually it means it doesn't have a long history within Keepa for a particular size or color. Like, I don't know about the jeans, like this one does. Usually it's a year or less, but what you can do is you can find ones that are new variants of a very popular item. And I've, something that sells 17,000 a month, if they did come out with a new color, and like you were one of the only ones that happened to find that whatever that new color may be, you could jump on those listings and get really good ROI because people don't know about that new color, new offering as of yet. And then this is another example that's really good. When Amazon's on a listing and then they fall off, like if you can jump on right now, there's like, this has been out of stock completely, but now someone jumped on at $70. There's only one seller on here. And they're actually selling it closer to $80 with shipping. Like that's crazy when I could get that same item. I forget which one I clicked, but I can get that same item for like on sale for $13 or $14. Like that's pretty crazy. It was the one that had both. So I can buy it for $20 right now, that same item on Kohl's, assuming that they still have it in stock. And with Kohl's, it takes you to that exact color. And then you can just see of that size, which was 4. Is it 4 short or just 4? So if I did size average 4, like they still have these in stock right now. And it looks like my price before Kohl's Cash is $25. So it's roughly like $21. And if I wanted to stock up on them, they have more than 1,000 in stock, which is pretty crazy. So you can like go crazy with Gloria Vanderbilt pants if you're ungated in them, like I am. And you can do really well of listings like this where there's no other sellers, but you're on a really popular listing because it has so many variations. Think of all the different colors and all the different sizes of those colors on this one listing. The scraping is great because whatever is in stock at Kohl's, all these colors, all these sizes, it costs you 1 credit to get this, and it comes up with rows for every single match. And that's what you're seeing in this with all these different rows here.
Hey, Lark, you had a question?
Yeah, and I could be getting ahead because I know this has been awesome. You've been answering a lot of questions and kind of
Sure.
zipping through this. I know there's probably more to show. Let's say, so your scrape of Kohl's or whatever that was, and it was 900 items, right? 900 of the best, the top ones.
Yep.
Now, it's going to take, and we can narrow down velocity and so on and so on and so on. Let's say we even just cut that 900 in half and it's 400 items. It still takes a long time to go through 400 items. So let's say I have a chance to spend 2 hours and I go through 50.
Yep.
Then 2 days from now or 3 days from now, I come back. Like, how relevant is it? Where can I find it? Is the data change? Obviously, pricing changes on Amazon all the time. Maybe the sale is off. Those kind of things. How do we go from there? Is there a history button?
Not basically what I tend to do. I know that the buy box will change and things like that. Usually Kohl's or the retailer will have a time bound date so that if you look at the details, it says I think the 16th is when this changes, and then so that they're probably going to have the same sale or prices whenever they have like a Kohl's Cash promotion like that. And then the other thing that you could do is if you look at Kohl's, they'll have this coupon, and the coupon also, when they ever have that coupon, it has an end date on the details here. So you'll know that the price, the source price, is generally going to not change until it ends. So I would expect for the next 7 days, the prices you see here are going to be consistent. Now, Amazon will change. The number of offers will change. The buy box will change. A lot of stuff. And so basically, what I do is I just run a fresh scrape every couple of days, 2-3 days.
Okay.
And then I just have a brand new data, because it's generally not a high cost. When I'm finding that many profitable items, it's worth it to me. Otherwise, you can just spot check to see if it's still profitable or not. Like you're looking in here and it says, okay, right now the buy box is, let me see if I can go for like different items. These are Adidas. So let me say like this shoe, is it still $70? I would just click Amazon and look at the buy box. It is still $69.99 right now. So that's still accurate. And then, I can always look at the history. And if not, then I can see like, has it gone up? Has it gone down? But because this was run today, in general, these prices will still be pretty accurate. And usually if someone sells out, it may jump up, it may go down, but it just depends on the item. Like Adidas and Nike are tending to be more gated. So there's less sellers, which means it's more, same price, but that's kind of how I would spot check. Now, the other thing that you can do is say you give this to your VA and you want them to vet it, and you want them just to give you a buy list. What you can do, or you're going through this, and as you're going through, you don't remember like which ones you're like, oh, okay, you know what, this one looks pretty good. Maybe I will buy it, but you don't remember like which one it was. That was actually pretty bad. This one, say this one's good and I want to buy it. You can click add. So you add it to your shopping cart. And what that does is it basically remembers that item for you. So then you go, okay, now I see this one. Up here, if I sort by ROI, and you look at some of these good ones, oh, okay, this one looks good. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add this. So when you're done, like you don't remember like which ones you thought you were going to be good. You just click into your shopping cart and it gives you all the details of the ones that you added. So now you could go back and say, oh, okay, these were the ones I was going to buy, and then go to that. And if you download that list and you open it, where'd it go? It'll still give you the links to the product directly, which is helpful.
Mm-hmm. And then just so going back to, so if I go to Market Foundry and I want to look at the file or the scrape that I did 3 days ago, like where do I find it? Like, how do you do that? Because assuming the website is the home base, right? To get started.
Yes, it is definitely a home base. Yeah. So you can see here, these are the items I said I was going to buy. If a VA gave it to you, I could click on buy from store and it just takes me right to that item that I was going to buy. And then I can just add it. So you can kind of create a shopping list to help you keep track. Now, everything that you've ever run on the Market Foundry is going to be in your My Job section. So if you go to My Job, all of these completed items are still there. You can download any one of them. You can send them to the analyzer. I think right now it's maybe 30 days of data. I'll have to check. I can increase it. But yeah, it keeps a good running total of the ones that you've run previously.
Keep going.
I'll just show you real briefly the brand ungating, just to see if it's interesting. So the reason I did this was there's a lot of brands you're not sure whether they're A, on Amazon, B, are going to come after you for an IP complaint or a copyright claim. So what I did is when you do analyze brands, it takes that same sheet that you ran and it shows you the number of different brands that it found. This one wasn't a high number of brands, but it shows you the example where, it's telling you the number of items this found in that sheet. So there's 3,397 Under Armour items in the sheet. And of those, 758 have more than 5 sellers. And one item in that list has 32 sellers. So it's a general, it's going to say, you know what, you can ungate this with high confidence that you're not going to, get strikes against you if you try to sell it on Amazon. Versus like outer stuff, they have 0 items that have more than 5 sellers, and their average is only 1 seller, probably them. The most they ever had was 2. So like if you go there, you go to Amazon, you look at that item, you may get a IP alert or something along those lines. You may not be approved to sell it or whatever, because this is like the branded items that are like Nike, but they're like San Francisco or colleges or NFL or things like that. But the ungating tool will show you, like a Nike has 3,000 items in this sheet. 227 have more than 5 sellers right now. The average is 2, probably because it's getting partially gated, but there is one item in here that has 30 different sellers. Same with Adidas, a lot of items in here, and then one item has 27 different offers on it. So when you have a bigger, list to go off of, you could then see every brand that was included, especially if you do it wide open. If I go to Kohl's and I just say clearance, and it's going to pick up, like all the different brands, and you can see like they have tons of different brands on at Kohl's, like literally hundreds. How do you know which ones are even on Amazon? And if they are, how do you know whether or not they would go after you? Well, you would run a scrape that includes those brands, and the brand ungating tool will give you some insight on, whether or not, how many offers there are and things like that, so that you can get a general idea. And then it also shows you the lowest item that you could buy. So if you wanted to get ungated in Warner's, it says, there's 184 more than 5 sellers. There's 16 sellers on one item. So you want to get ungated, you can click the button and then do apply. I don't think I can sell Warner's. They want 100 units of it for me. Actually, I can sell Warner's. And then if you wanted to get ungated, this is the cheapest item at Kohl's that you could buy to use it for $4.08. So if they wanted 10 items, you'd only have to spend $40 on that item is on Amazon, and use that for ungating. So the brand ungater is helpful in that regard.
And you said that was, when you say you use that sheet, you're talking about that scrape you just did.
Yep, you'll see that when you go into my jobs. There's 2 buttons: send to analyzer and send to ungating.
Gotcha.
It'll open either one based off of that. So this was like a clearance one that I ran that was 25 pages of just wide open clearance. So it'll pick up more brands than, something that's narrow. Like a lot of people will just do the ones they know they're ungated in. But this one picked up 38 different brands, and it's showing which ones are excellent, good, average. And even the poor ones doesn't mean that they're going to come after you for sure. Like I've sold Madden Girl, I've sold Champion and Hagar. It's just sometimes there's not a lot. Their bank of items isn't very high, so the confidence isn't high. Like it says the peak is 4 offers. So you still would like check it out. Don't go, this isn't law. It's just you're generally looking for ones like these that have a high number of items, but a low number of competition on there. So Levi's is like a brand exclusive. They don't even allow you to apply, I don't think, or if you did, they probably would definitely come after you. And it gives you a better idea when you have 38 and showing all these again, like, there's 17 offers max on that guy. Gloria Vanderbilt, which we were looking at before, 11 offers. Columbia has one with 11 sellers on it. So it just gives you a good idea, but you still would run it by going to that item, looking at Keepa. Are there any drop-offs like you would see for typical for IP complaints? So the good number of offers and suddenly it drops down, stuff like that. So, or if IP alert triggers on it, or if like Celeram does have IP, but I don't think Adidas actually goes after anyone. But I like to use the IP alert. That kind of gives me an idea. So again, you would vet it, but this picks up every single different brand in a scrape. So you might not even know like some of these brands were even going to be in there because you were just running a like you don't know what trim shaper is, or maybe you do, but you can see, then you can investigate it and see maybe you want to get ungated. And if you can find decent ones that allow ungating, then you're going to be able to increase the number of ones you have ungated, or maybe find one that other people, it's not as saturated, especially if you're finding brands that other people may not necessarily know about or target as much. Questions on that?
I have a question.
Sure.
If you have a product an item that you're interested in and it has variations, when you're
Yes.
getting ready to do the URL to submit, you should still be doing one, not where that product is by itself, right? You should be doing one where it's a page of a lot of them on that particular page.
Yep, exactly. So how it works is you just do a search, and the search results never just show you one variation. It's like
Okay.
a product with all variations. So if I did girls shirts, for instance, like there you can see how this one product has all the different
Mhm.
colors variations included. So you'll get every single color that's in stock and every size of that color, with one credit charge because it's one URL, but you get
Sure.
all the items in that, and they'll show up as separate rows. So all these different colors, all these different sizes. For one credit, you're getting probably, over 100
Mhm.
different variations of that, which is good.
So I wouldn't be submitting, like what I'm looking at right now is
Yeah,
definitely
you
not
wouldn't
what we
submit the
submit
product
because
page.
that's not gonna, okay, got it.
Yeah, people get
That's
confused.
understood.
Sometimes they run it while they're on a single product, and that doesn't work. It has to be a search page that's showing you how many results there are, and like at the bottom, how many pages total that you could scrape from. Those are your cues, like you're in the right place. So if I
Great.
wanted to, I could do up to 176 pages of this. Now I wouldn't, because that's a lot of products. I mean, you're talking about 120 per page, to
Sure.
scrape 21,000. It could do it. It's like there's no max, but that would be like a giant sheet. It might be overkill. What I usually like to
Mhm.
do is sort by bestseller, to get the highest velocity, or you can sort by promotion to only see clearance, like your best
Okay.
ones, stuff like that. So whatever filter that you want to put in first, that's going to limit it. Now you only have to do 1,300. That's only like 11 pages, and
Mhm.
all of these are on clearance, so that the ones that do get matched are going to have a really good price point for you compared to Amazon.
Thank you so much. This is very interesting. Very good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time in the automation and trying to make this as easy as possible for people just to kind of pick up without having to know coding, without having to know anything other than just send it to the analyzer and let it do its thing, and then it'll show you like which ones are the best products, and then you can even ask it questions in the little bot. So if you wanted to see like the best items, particular brand, which ones have low competition, and that's another really valuable thing that you can do in this. If you go and you actually sort by offers, anytime you see NA here, that means it's currently, there's no competing offers. And look at how many there are. That means if you buy this, which is in stock at Kohl's, and you list it, you're the only seller. Now, Amazon does have price controls. You couldn't probably list this shirt for $112. It may suppress it or unlist it because it thinks it's unfair competition or whatever. But a lot of those will, but you'd want to check it first. But any one of these, like if I click on them, it should show me that there's currently unavailable, meaning there's no other person. Now, some of these aren't great listings, no pictures and like no sales rank or whatever is probably not one that's going to sell very quick. But you can see, going back to the list, there are definitely ones that will have decent number of velocity that have no other competition on here, and those ones are that can be really good. And even if there aren't high velocity, again, being the only seller, people will find items. Like you see, I've sold this one 4 times. It says it only sells 2 a month, and I can make 74% ROI. Maybe you look at the listing and maybe it doesn't have a great sales rank, the buy box is suppressed, but it's Nike and people search for Nike all the time. So even though this isn't the greatest, keep a chart, like I did get sales on it. So it's worth experimenting.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah, so I had a question. Let's say you look back at one of your jobs from 2 or 3 weeks ago. You found some killer products, but the sailor, the way you made it profitable isn't running anymore. Like the discount codes aren't there anymore.
Yep.
Is there a way that you can like write notes on the side of the product on how you made it profitable, and as well as like kind of like how SellerAmp does, you can export it to a Google Sheet where under the category of like almost good, good but it's sold out, good for like a specific holiday, something like that, where you can export it to like an Excel file or something like that.
That's a great idea. I think what I can do, which would be pretty easy, is in addition to the add button, I could put like a notes button, and then you could put in notes that it would save, and then you could export the notes or do something, or go back and review it. So that's a great idea to put in your own comments here, in addition to being able to add it. So maybe if you add it to the cart, maybe you could go in the cart and put a note in there, as well as just saving the information. Otherwise, it could be just a separate notes field. Yeah, that's definitely a great idea.
One last quick question. So I know we talked about Adidas and Nike. So I am actually ungated on both, thankfully. But a lot of items are restricted.
Yes.
Is there any way to exclude? I know on a search, on a scrape, it can't necessarily exclude those, but correct?
Yeah, it doesn't know
whether something is,
because I don't have a hook into like your account for your ungating status, although it'd be nice if I did. But what you probably could tell by would be the number of offers. Like if you filtered specifically for like Nike or something like that. If the offers are like 1,
2 or 1,
or 2 or something, it's probably because it's only Amazon that's selling it, and it's probably gated. But if you look at some of them that may have 3, 4, or 5, usually it's an indicator that I can still sell it. Like this has 5, so if I go on here, it should be ungated for me. Yeah, so this one is, even though it's Nike, but there's plenty of Nike that I'm not able to sell anymore, which is really annoying.
Yeah. Yep. Same boat.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Really, really good stuff. Omar, killing it, buddy. Man.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
It's good, good, good.
So this one has 1 seller. I bet you anything I'm gated. Nope, I was wrong. But generally, like if there's 1 offer on Nike or Adidas, it's probably because I'm gated on it. But yeah, there's no real easy way to tell. It's just kind of trial and error. You would always check before you're going to buy something whether or not you're currently gated or not. Like this one, I am gated, see, and the only seller is Amazon for Adidas. So I would not want. Now, would I buy this if it was a really great product and sell it on Walmart or sell it on eBay or something? Potentially, especially for new sellers. But I would definitely, if you're planning or counting on Amazon, definitely check before you make a purchase. Other last questions?
Yeah, last questions, last call. I appreciate you going over by 30 minutes, Ron.
Oh, my pleasure. It's my passion. I love this stuff.
And I'll mention, and I'll put it in the notes. We did, there's a couple things. One, we did live sourcing with Scotty the other day. So that was super cool. He created an account and we did some scans with him live, which was awesome. And then Ronald and I did like a full 1-hour demo on the tool. So both of those are available now. And I think what we're probably going to do a guide to so that you guys have access to that. And as long as you create an account, you'll get that guide for free. So definitely appreciate that. And I guess it sounds like we're good for questions. So we'll close out for the night. We have coming up, we have the live stream on Thursday at 9. We have a live stream on Saturday at 9. And then Coda is coming on the 17th. It is going to be absolutely crazy. If you do any RA, thinking about RA, he is an animal, and that's going to be a fantastic call. So make sure you come and check us out on the 17th. And also tomorrow, we are doing a call, Brian and I, with Dylan from Aura, which is going to be absolutely insane. If you are thinking about repricing, you have a repricer but don't have Aura, you should come to that. Also, if you love the future and you want to hear somebody talk about the future, that guy is an animal, and that call is going to be absolutely amazing. So
real quick, I'm going to jump in right there real quick. It's not even a sales pitch call. Honestly, it's probably one of the most entertaining, like smart driven, like futuristic call you'll ever join. I promise. It's like, it's some crazy stuff he talks about. So hope to see you guys there.
links for everything will be in the notes.
This was a lot of fun.
All right. Catch everybody later, hopefully tomorrow.